Might be able to. Today, we're going to run through some live ranking AI SEO case studies, and we're going to show you proof that actually all of this stuff that we're going to show you today, it actually works. We've got Charles Floate on the stream today. Welcome, Charles.
Thanks for having me again, Julian. I'm looking forward to today's stream. I think we are going to be showing some people some stuff that they're going to be pretty surprised by.
Let's get straight into it. So, I mean, just to show you, we're not BSing you or we're not making this up or anything like that. So you can see, for example, this is Charles Float's website, charlesfloat.com, and you can see his article on how to make 100K per month. And this is one that's ranking currently, right?
Yeah, so I think it's like number 3 or number 4 for one of its main keywords. And then it's page 1 for basically all the other keywords, page 2 for some of the bigger keywords, which maybe like 500,000 searches per month.
It's pretty nice, like the images and everything like that. And we're going to reveal today, like exactly what the workflow is for creating content like this using Cuppa. And additionally, we've got an example of like, your rankings for this particular page. Like you can see it's already getting traffic, it's already getting keywords, it's already ranking on the first page. It's undeniable proof that this is ranking on the first page, basically, right?
Yeah, 100%. And bear in mind that this, like we're going to show more case studies, don't worry, guys. But this one case study was actually generated in January. So this is prior to a lot of the improvements that we've actually made to Cuppa. Like you'll see on the article, it's got the tables, it's got the formatting, it's got the AI images and the featured images and stuff. And that looks great. And that's kind of the base stuff that we were doing with Cuppa. But now we've got so many more features and things that make the quality of the articles and the formatting and everything so much better now. That I think it's going to be very interesting to see what kind of content we can generate going forward, because that content was V1. This is definitely kind of, the new version, the new V2 kind of stuff.
Awesome. All right. So where's the first place you start with this? Would you start with Cuppa or what do you recommend?
Yeah, so of course, like the very, very first place you should always start is like your keyword research, right? You should try and find some level of keywords that you've been targeting, analyze the intent of that keyword, see what kind of a page you need to be creating to be able to rank for that keyword. If it needs to be a blog post, you need to obviously create a blog post. If it's ranking with, Reddit and Quora number 1 and number 2, unfortunately, it's very unlikely blog posts are going to rank anymore. Google just prefers UGC content, and it's kind of turbocharged UGC signals and other signals like e-commerce and stuff into the SERPs, which has fundamentally changed some of that intent. But yeah, so we're going to start with Cuppa. And basically with Cuppa, the very first thing I always recommend people do is reiterate their presets. So if you go on the left to my saved presets, you should be able to go to my presets and then just create a new preset.
Okay.
And this is where kind of the fun begins, right? So this is where we want to really start creating all of the stuff around our specific article generation. And this is where you basically want to reiterate the preset. So the content cost is so unbelievably affordable that all you want to do is continually generate content until you've got the perfect preset to get the type of content you're wanting to generate. Generally, what we try and do, instead of trying to create a preset and create prompting to create a type of article, we're trying to get a type of article that we want to create, and we're trying to reverse engineer a preset to create this type of article, as an example, right? So with this specific preset setup, there's a lot of things that we can do, and it's very dependent on the type of article that you are generating. So if you just click type of article, you'll see that first of all, we've got general, and then you've got things like how to, listicle, review, recipe, all that kind of stuff, right? We're going to be adding about 20 more of these templates very soon. It's just that we have to do testing in 33 different languages for each of them to be able to see which ones actually work across all of our customers, right? We can't just put it in English and let the other 56% of the customers not be able to generate quality content, right? We have to have it work across all languages. Once you've got that, you're good to go with your type of stuff. We want to start kind of heading a bit further down, and you can choose your tone of voice. I normally just keep it optimized, but that's obviously very up to you guys, depending on if you're wanting to have a friendly, engaging tone, depending on what kind of content you're writing. POV, same thing. Language, same thing. Country, same thing. You just want to be making sure that it's selecting to what you're trying to generate that type of content for. Then you have your key takeaways section. Again, that can kind of be your key takeaways, your TLDR. I don't really include that. And then we get onto kind of the advanced settings. So I think we're now the only tool at the moment that has got built-in Perplexity API research. So essentially all you do is click that one button and it will pull in all of the facts and statistics and data and stuff that Perplexity has on your queries and automatically put that into your prompting, which generates that into your article. So it makes hallucinations a lot less likely, and it increases the quality of the content. From the advanced options here, this is where you start taking your prompting to that next level, right? And it's great for me to say, you know, these are my prompts, this is what I use. But when it comes to generating content, it is very, very dependent on the type of content you are trying to generate, right? There are kind of general rules of thumb to this kind of a generation and what you want to put into here. But generally speaking, there are very, very specific things you want to try and have these prompts talk about so that it generates the content that is relative to you. So I've got a couple examples here of things that you can do to improve this specific prompting preset. And like I said, because it's so dependent on the type of content you're generating, you really want to be doing a reiterative process just to make sure that your prompting here is the most optimal for the type of content you're trying to generate. And that might be the case that you're generating 100 articles over the course of a few hours and just slightly tweaking different parts and different settings and different prompts and things like that until you try and get that optimal article. But once you've got that preset done, that's it. You can go and generate all the content for that niche that you want to do, and it will slay, right? It will absolutely kill it. And we've got multiple customer success stories of them doing that already. Like if you go and look at Ryan Durrani, who, bear in mind, is a very white hat SEO by trade. He's been using out of the box Cuppa content. So he doesn't do any editing. He just uses an advanced preset, which he's configured and reiterates himself. And it has got 70 to 90 scores out the box in Surfer and ClearScope. And those pages with no editing rank page one the same day. It's really quite amazing. But again, he's spent hours and hours and hours doing this reiterate process. When it comes to these specific prompts, there are some rules of thumb that you can stick to help try and make them better. So for that extra title prompt at the start, right, you can choose to kind of have your title in 3 different ways. So I like to have it either a natural title, which again is just sounding very natural, very organic. It's not very clickbaity, which is the next kind of part, which you can have a clickbait title, which again, if you're trying to rank for things like reviews or you're trying to get content that is going to rank in things like Google Discover, this is where the clickbait titles are going to come in very handy. Or then you can have very specific. So those are the 3 options: natural, clickbait, or specific for your titles. Specific, that's when you end up trying to create content that you are trying to have more like scientific, more like healthcare related, that kind of thing, where you want the wording and you want the title to be exactly the same niche that you're trying to generate the content for, right? Otherwise, it can kind of, offset. You can use random words, that kind of thing. Then we kind of choose our target audience. So if it's a US audience, if it's a UK audience, a Canadian audience, a Thai audience, something like that, right? We want to tell who the audience is that we're trying to generate for, maybe even give them a reading level. And then we just want to try and ask it to include specific words for the title as well. So I like using things like report, new, effective, spam, scam, safe, things like that. Is it this? Was it that? Things like that. Just those yep.
Just to clarify there for people watching, is that where you put this in the content prompt, or you putting this in the title
this is the title prompt. Yes,
title prompt. Yeah.
So we're going one by one, right? So what we want to do at the beginning, we choose natural, clickbait, or specific, right? Because specific is just scientific content, healthcare content. Clickbait is for affiliate offers and Google Discover and content for that kind of stuff. Natural is when you just want it to be organic and you're wanting to try and make, very high quality, white hat, semantically relevant content for your site that is going to bolster your topical authority, right? But those are generally the 3 main things, right? So we want to choose our target audience, make sure that we're choosing whether it's natural, clickbait, or specific, and then ask it to include specific words. So if we're trying to, if we're trying to generate a review style article, I try and use new report or, is it a scam or something like that, just because it tends to get higher CTRs. In the next part is the introduction prompt, right? And this is, again, very, very specific to what article type or what kind of content you are generating, because you can still use similar prompts to the content prompt, which is what I'm going to talk about below. But you are needing to make sure that you're targeting the audience specifically for the type of content you're generating. And generally speaking, I try and make sure that it is a persuasive introduction. So we try and tell Google that we want it to, we try and tell OpenAI and tell the models that we want it to be a persuasive style of copywriting in the introduction so that when it's opening, it entices the user into it, right? That doesn't necessarily matter so much for like supporting content and things, but for any money pages, any site where you want users engaging with the content, 100% you want it to be persuasive.
Perfect.
Then
Sorry to interrupt there. Just as we go along, what I'm going to do is I'm going to document all of this into an SOP as well, and then people can just get access at the end so they can copy the same prompts from you.
Yeah, and what I'll do as well in that SOP, I'll give a additional file where people can download the file as well, and they'll be able to get a list of negative words that the AI uses, and that you can replace it with words that the AI doesn't necessarily use as much. So it makes it a bit more human, a bit more readable and things. Also, sorry if I tend to just go very fast in this, but this is my normal workflow. So I'm very used to using these tools and very used to using them and kind of generating this kind of stuff. And I tend to just talk very fast anyway. So if I'm going too fast, Julian, let me know. I'll make sure to slow it down a little bit for everybody. Okay, so the extra content prompts. This is where you can go absolutely ham, right? This is where it depends on the type of content stuff you're doing. What I like to do, generally speaking, most of my content is for US or UK audiences. So I tell it right at the beginning, write our content for a US or UK audience. And I generally like to have a reading level of between 8 and 15. Generally speaking, I think the average reading age in the UK and the US is around 14 or 15. So anything below that means that everybody is generally going to be able to read your content, right? I generally also ask it to use a natural and conversational dialogue. That being said, that depends on the content you're generating, right? If you're generating very formal content, if you're generating stuff like law firms or things like that, you definitely don't want a conversational dialogue. You want it to be very matter of fact. So that is very specific on where you want to structure that prompt for your content. Then I make sure that we structure. So I ask the AI in the prompt to structure sentences to easily semantically connect entities and keywords. And the keywords are what we're referencing in the bottom prompt as well. Then I ask it to start each sentence differently from the last so that it makes sure that each sentence is unique and that we don't have an overlap of the same kind of style of regurgitated paragraphs over and over again. Then I asked it to remove hyphens connecting words. Hyphens in the same word are fine, but hyphens connecting words are a very easy sign for AI because generally speaking, humans don't actually use hyphens to connect words in English unless they've done some kind of English language training at university or something. Then I ask it to reinforce prioritization using the research data that you have provided, not using its own training data, right? This is something that a lot of people seem to forget, that there's not a very good prioritization system inside a lot of these models, so that sometimes, and actually quite a lot of the time, it will overwrite some of your own research inputs and some of your own ROG in favor of its internal training data, especially if it's got a lot of the same training data that's repeatedly saying something against what you're trying to input. It will tend to overlap and use that because there's more of it than your source, right? And then finally, any type of content that you're trying to put where it's not an instruction, it's actually saying the content, you want to put it in triple quotation marks because it's a specific operator within OpenAI's models. Again, this doesn't work for Claude, but in OpenAI, it 100% does. If you put any content within triple quotation marks on either side, it tells OpenAI's models that that is the content and that it's separate from the instructions that are around it. So it allows the OpenAI models to have a lot better context, basically, if you use that kind of a structuring of your content prompts. So again, quite a lot there. And some people tend to argue with me that the AI isn't very good at dealing with this much information and this many instructions. And I would say, yes, that was the case a year ago, right? But realistically, a lot of these models now, GPT-4o, Claude 3.5, they have gotten so advanced that it allows them to do multiple logical operations within the same command line. So it allows them to do interpret all of these different instructions, interpret all these different operations and processes, and be able to actually implement all of them rather than previously it would kind of prioritize the stuff at the bottom or the stuff at the top due to recency bias. And then it would only do certain instructions and not kind of do the ones in the middle that you jam packed there, right? Then we have the meta description prompt, and I don't really care about meta descriptions because Google hasn't used it as a ranking signal for a very, very long time. But a lot of users do care about them. But I prefer to just let Google rewrite the meta description, and it also lessens the amount of instructions that we're giving to the AI, like I just kind of said. Whilst it's very good at dealing with a lot of instructions, it also does have a limit, so you don't want to be giving it too many. And then we kind of finally go on to the keywords. And this is where a lot of people get it wrong. So a lot of people just go to Ahrefs, put in their keyword, export a list, and then copy paste that into the tool. That's a really bad idea, right? There's two options that you can use, which are way better. You can still use Ahrefs, and you just go to a competitor's ranking page, so a page that's already number one or number two, and you export their top keywords that are within the top 20 positions, and you just put those keywords in. Or you can, when you're generating your article inside of Cuppa, on the right-hand sidebar, there is a keyword research tab, which will allow you to actually load semantically relevant keywords to your page and just add them in. And it will even allow you to check the intent of those keywords to make sure that it matches the intent of the article that you're trying to generate, so that you're not trying to put in keywords that don't actually have the intent that you're trying to match for users or Google's ranking ability.
Let's just to quickly show people how to do that. So if they want to export the keywords, for example, let's just take a random term like best SEO tools. You can plug that into Ahrefs like so, and then if you want to get the keywords, which is what Charles talking about, you could export the keywords from here. You just take the top 20, right?
So I go to position. So I go to position, and so so it's just sorry, the actual filter.
Oh, the actual filter.
Just go 220. So it goes max position 20.
Yeah.
Okay. Just because again, it gives you all the keywords that it's actually semantically ranking it for, right? If it's on page 9, then it's probably not that relevant for the kind of page you're trying to do, right? So this is kind of perfect. 50 keywords there, you're ready to go. That would actually probably be an ideal number, to be honest, to put into the tool. What the tool does with those keywords is, number one, it will try and format them into the article to make them optimized in the article, but it will also try and, when it's generating the content, try and make the AI generate the content with those entities as reference points. So it actually uses those, try and uses the keywords inside of the article naturally and organically as a reference or an anchor point. There's kind of different, terminologies for it, and then use that from there. But there's kind of multiple ways it's been used. The final part of this is the target word count, right? And again, that's dependent on the type of article you're generating, and how big you want your H2s, how big you want your H3s, that kind of thing. Normally, we just kind of leave it default and let the tools research do it for you. So that's basically it from this. The only thing on here, and I actually didn't send it to you, Julian, so this is my bad. I'll send it to you on WhatsApp quickly, I think.
Perfect.
So cover that. Yeah. So basically, if you go to content manipulation, which is the next tab on here, you will be able to import this quickly. It should.
That's a CSV. Just in the meantime, I'll read out a couple of questions whilst you're doing that, Charles.
Yep.
So shout out to Lewis. He says, loads of gold here. Thanks, guys, for getting together to do this live. Appreciate you watching.
Appreciate it, Lewis.
Duncan says it's cool to see how Cuppa is developing, which I think as well. Like, your tool is developing a lot. You've got a lot of good features going on.
I appreciate it. Yeah, we currently are, our developer costs, we have 6 full-time developers now, and it's over $14,000 a month just in dev fees. So it's getting to a point where, like, our development team is rapid, because we're just investing so much into it. But we've also got a really experienced team. So like me, Todd, Chris, Jason, Yudish, all of us have got a ton of experience in black hat marketing, and AI and content and SEO. And that means that every day we're coming up with improvements, coming up with ideas and stuff just internally from the owners and things. And so it means that actually we are using this for our own businesses and for our own rankings and cases. And that's what I'm trying to show you here. Yeah, so hopefully you've got that sheet now. If you can import the CSV, it will basically be, banned words. So it will replace all of these words which Google tends to, which I keep on referring to Google because all I talk about all day is Google. which OpenAI and these models and even Claude and stuff, right, they tend to use over and over again. We've all seen in today's digital landscape, right, like repeatedly over and over again. This list, again, you can just give this away to people for free in the doc at the end. We'll give you, I think there's around 84 or 85 different keywords. At the moment, Cuppa gives you a maximum of 100. We're trying to increase that limit so that it actually allows you to have even more keywords, because we found around 200 to 300 keywords that OpenAI really tends to hyper focus on and use repeatedly over and over again. But yeah, that's basically from here. When you go to AI images, that then allows you to, images, that then you can generate images. So it allows you to choose the style of images that you're going to put inside of the article. Generally speaking, I don't actually use this feature, because when you some people love it, right? And you'll see in some of the case study examples that we've already shown and some of the ones we're going to show later on that we do use that image generation inside of those. But generally speaking, inside of the Cuppa Power Editor, it allows you to custom generate your own images using DALL-E or Midjourney. And I way prefer Midjourney to DALL-E, and also Midjourney allows you to generate some images that DALL-E doesn't, right? So we have some clients in the US. Turns out, did you know that the US likes guns, right? Big shocker, I know, to the whole of the rest of the world. But DALL-E 3 doesn't allow you to generate images with guns, but Midjourney does. So that's a massive advantage to people who have any sort of firearms hunting, survival websites, things like that, because you need to be able to generate weaponry inside of your imagery and stuff, right? Even like bows and arrows, some of that is like banned inside of DALL-E and stuff, right? Which is kind of a bit silly. So you can click generating AI images on this, and what it allows you to do, it allows you to automatically insert images from DALL-E, and you can, so if you just click the button on here, it will allow, click AI generate images.
Oh yeah. By the way, if you're enjoying this, smash a like on the live stream, just because Charles is giving away gold here.
Yeah, I'm trying to give it. Oh, trust me, we haven't even got started, Julian. Trust me. Right. Okay. So this will allow you to input like a number of images into the body. At the moment, we're going to improve the quality of life so that it will allow you to choose a random number. So you can put like 2 to 7 as an example, right? And it will just randomly pick a number of images. Then you can select your style. We put some various styles in here, but if you go to the bottom of that, you can actually start putting your own prompting. So you can choose a custom style, which will allow you to basically customize your own prompt and your own style for the type of images you're trying to generate, right? And a lot of people really like this because it then allows you to kind of come up with the prompting to keep all of your images formatted in the same kind of way, right? But again, I don't really use this because we have Power Editor, which allows you to custom generate unique images with unique prompts individually. And then the final thing is knowledge, right? And if you're a big ChatGPT user, you'll know what this is. This is just knowledge bases, which allows you to either import, so you can create a new knowledge base. It will allow you to either create text, so you can input 15,000 characters of information. And this could be, this could be branding guidelines. This could be authorship. This could be personas. This could be anything that you want to make sure that the AI is referencing, making sure that AI is sticking to, right? But this is absolutely fantastic. You can also change the source to files, and you can upload up to a megabyte PDF files or mastermind files. So if you click source, it'll say text, and then it'll say file. Yep, file. And then you can upload a file if you want to upload a PDF, an MD file, a text file, whatever you want. A megabyte is the maximum at the moment. We're trying to increase that to like 5 or 10, but we want a limit of 15,000 characters. That otherwise, then it tends to mess around with the prompting context windows and things.
Just on that point right here, we've got a question from Jay and Gildo who says, is it applicable on the casino industry as well, since casino industry doesn't have a lot of information? And I guess this is probably where you would insert that information if you want to train it, right?
Exactly. Yep. So what we want to try and do with this feature is we want to try and have a knowledge base creator, right? So basically you input however many files, however many URLs you want, and it will extract all of that context, and it will create a knowledge base for you out of all of that context, right? So I'm talking, you could upload 1,000 files, 10 gigabytes worth of files, and it'll create this knowledge base for you. Once we've done that, and that's hopefully, a month away or so, it shouldn't be too long away. that kind of solves any industry issue where you don't have enough content, because all you have to do is take any content from anywhere that's industry related and it will create it for you, right? The Cuppa works for any niche, because once we've got outside of this is just a preset, right? We haven't even started generating any content yet. Once we start generating content, that will allow us to fetch from the SERP. It'll allow us to fetch from Wikipedia, Google News, Reddit, forums. People also ask FAQs. Like we have so much research features inside of the Power Editor. It's kind of crazy. So this is basically it. So we can save this knowledge base, and we can save that knowledge panel. We can discard it, whatever we want, and we can save the preset. Sorry, and now we can start generating some content. So if we go to create content, and we go to bulk generation first, right? I want to show you some tools before we do it. So before we actually generate a single article, we can, inside of bulk generation, we can either, like it says on the tin, bulk generate content, or something that's really, really interesting, we can do programmatic SEO. So if you click programmatic keywords, this is, again, there are other tools on the market that do this, but it's only, so my maid is coming down. There's only some other tools on the market that do this, but they're either separate on their own independent tools. And there's nobody that kind of has it, as an AI writer built in. So what this allows you to do is, if you do the curly brackets, right, and then you just put, actually, I can copy paste you one very quickly. Let me just, sorry for my
oh, good, mate.
mechanical keys.
Whilst you're doing that, I can answer some of the questions. So if you need to take a break or anything like that, feel free, mate. We've got a couple of questions whilst you're doing that. So one of them is knowledge bases creator is a great idea. You could use firecrawl.dev to quickly get a whole site as markdown to build the KB from. A really interesting idea for sure.
Yep.
And James says, I get the value of this tool for bulk content creation, very cool. But how about for a high-end boutique brand?
Yes.
Where we do a lot of human editing, which we're going to come on to, right? In this
video.
Yeah,
exactly. So this is like bulk. This is like, to be honest, I don't even think the bulk side of things is the main feature. Like it's 100% the single article generator is the main feature, because we do mostly human editing after the fact on our content. I just like to show out the box content that's ranking, because it's a good example to all the naysayers that say that Google can detect all AI content and that it's, it doesn't work. Out the box AI doesn't work, all this kind of stuff. That's absolute nonsense. We have thousands, if not tens of thousands of pages ranking 100 out the box, no editing, no anything from Cuppa. So if you, again, I'll send you a quick message. If you can copy paste that into that box there, that will basically allow us to create programmatic SEO pages. So if you go to type and just put in SEO, so if you put an enter value in type, so it will just say variable type and then value. Yep. Put in SEO and then just click enter, right? Boom. And then you can put in PPC as another one if you want to. So you can put in like, enter value PPC, boom, done. Then we can, in business, we could put law firms, right? So we can put law firms to the value. And then we could put geo, we could put New York, we could put London, we could put whichever ones we want. Put London in for another one. Okay. And then as an example, I do not recommend doing this, but as an example, we'll just click the green magic button on the right side there. So that in the right side will be the green magic button. Perfect. Yes. So that generates the template outline. We haven't got an API key. Okay.
It's okay. I'll plug that in whilst we're waiting. And
okay, cool.
I'll quickly do that now.
So, yeah, perfect. So what that does is it will automatically generate an outline for that programmatic SEO page. So it'll be like H2, what is this type of business, right? H3, we recommend this company number one, that kind of thing, right? So once that outline is done, you then can go back and it will say generate keywords under the bottom. And you don't need the outline for what we're going to show there. Now we can just click that generate keywords just to show people as an example on here.
Perfect. Do you want to give a teaser as well? What else is coming in the masterclass today?
Oh, there's so much stuff, right? So let me go back to my original document because I've got so much stuff. So we need to talk about USPs. We need to talk about the single article generator. We need to talk about the new content generation modes. We need to talk about Power Editor semantic scoring coming soon. We need to talk about the cluster drafting keywords. We need to talk about the iterative presets and the applying it to generation bulk. There's so much stuff. we're only getting started, right? And it might take a couple minutes because it needs to approve your key with OpenAI.
Right. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
It'll take, but don't reload. Don't reload. Go to scroll down a little bit and click generate keywords. So on the same page, yep, generate keywords.
Yep.
Boom. So then now we've got. So you don't want to click anything yet, but we've now got all of our pages. So you'll see it took that the curly brackets and it created best SEO agencies for law firms in New York, best PPC agencies for law firms in New York, right? And then inside of here, what we can do is from that preset that we created, right? We can go to apply presets. So if you click apply presets, that will then allow you to apply the preset we just made, right?
Oh,
So
nice.
all of these,
Yeah.
So what we do is in all of this recommendation stuff, right, is I recommend that you do single article generator to create the perfect preset. And then we convert that perfect preset into the bulk generator, right? So you can either bulk generate pages or you can generate programmatic SEO pages using the perfect preset that you have reiterated, right? And that will create these service pages or these PSEO pages or these bulk pages that are 20, 100 times better than what ChatGPT could ever create out the box, right? It's just such levels and levels ahead. And then what you would then be able to do is click generate all, and it will then go and generate those pages for you. But obviously, we're not going to do that here in this instance. You can also import keywords. You can do whatever you want on here, right? There's so much different stuff with this specific tool. It allows you to go really deep. And obviously, once you've then generates all that content, you can automatically upload it to WordPress, Shopify, Zapier, Google Drive, whatever you want in the backend, right? It'll allow you to do all of that for you.
Cool. I'm just going to quickly put that in the SOP as well. So we've got the programmatic options example. We've got the custom instruction that you put right here. And then just to show the settings, we can take a quick screenshot and plug that in just so that people can see, okay, this is how it works. And this is what you can do inside the SOP, which I think would be super useful.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome, man.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So now we can start generating some content, right? So if we go to create content again, and then just go to signal generation this time, this is where we have all the modes, right? So currently we have the first 3 modes available at the moment, which is new article, product roundup, and location service pages. Newsletter and social will be available next week. So they're coming out very, very soon. And then after that, we're going to have product reviews. So instead of having a product roundup, it'll be an individual product review. And then we're going to start doing product descriptions. We're going to have news articles. We're going to have all sorts of other content modes. So this is going to go way, way beyond just SEO. This is going to be a full content suite, right? Full content generation suite, content marketing suite, basically. But with a black hat twist, right? A content marketing black hat twist, let's say. So with this different one, we can just show people product roundup and location services as an example, right? So if you click product roundup just for now. And again, also, I just want to say, this should load, like, as you just saw, this should load like instantly, right? Like everything in Cuppa should load rapidly because we've flexed out a huge custom server grid. So we've got our own dedicated servers, but they're in a grid system globally. So nothing should go down unless we're releasing stuff to production. And everything should be instantaneous. So you should click buttons and it should load instantaneously.
Right.
Like you should be no waiting for Ahrefs to load bloody metrics and things around and stuff, right?
We've all been there.
Should be exactly. So this is product roundup. At the moment, we've only got Amazon, but soon, I think like within this month or something, we're going to have eBay, Share a Sale, Awin, a couple other big merchants as well that you'll be able to generate products from, and also have the product review. So it won't just be product roundup, be product review as well. And then you just do your settings, target keyword, all that kind of stuff, merchant domain, etc. Merchant domain, obviously you can choose like amazon.com.co.uk, .in.ca.a.com.au, whatever you want for your specific merchant. And then once you've actually, so we can actually show this off. Let's just show everything off. Let's do a stupidly long live stream today and just show everything off. If we put in whatever kind of product roundup, so we could do best coffee makers, best, knitting needles, anything you want to go with here as an example. So
so let's go with, I don't know, best birds cage, something like that, right?
Yeah, perfect. And then you just go next because it's already basically setting for you.
Oh, okay, already good to go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then it should be fairly fast for this. Boom! Look how fast that was, eh? What other tool on the market is that quick? So It will fetch all the products on the right side, and you'll see here that it's got the type things, and you can choose product box, you can put in your affiliate ID, you can choose all the settings, you can put in whatever you want on here. And again, you can actually, so we will create these product boxes for you, and you can customize them with your own CSS, do whatever you want with them. Or you can use your own boxes, you can use your own short codes, you can use Amazon's default ones. There's all sorts of stuff. On the right side there, you'll be able to go through all the Amazon products that it's found, just select products. You can select any of them, and it will put it into the roundup for you on the left-hand side there.
Nice.
And you can clearly see one on there. Yep. And then it will create the roundup for you based off all of that. So very easily done for you there. So that's the kind of product roundup tool. And we can
yeah. So you add your affiliate ID, choose your products, generate the article, right?
Exactly. Boom.
Nice.
And then if we go back to content generation, we've got the location pages. So this actually came out last night. So this was, so location service page. If you do local SEO, this is the ultimate tool for you, right? This allows you to generate localized service pages, and it will be specifically optimized to your type of business. So I did a tweet. I can just quickly pull it up for you last night, just to show an example of this content. Here we go. So I stole Josh George's business ClickSlice as an example of this, just to show kind of what it can do. But at the moment, and bear in mind, this is a very, very base version, right? So what you can do exactly in there, it will allow you to, it will automatically create that outline for you. So this is automatically generated, all done nicely for me. And then then what you can do inside of this is you'll notice that there's like in between the delete box and the edit button, there's like a little page icon, right? And that icon allows you to insert research data, or then if you hover underneath it, right, when you're actually inside the tool, it allows you to insert things. So it allows you to insert like a short code. It allows you to insert a Google Maps listing from that business. It allows you to insert like schema, market, whatever you want. But for those location services pages, if you want to embed your Google Maps, for example, you can automatically embed your Google Maps on the page. And that will generate local service pages that you can rank for anything. And again, what you try and do is you try to create the perfect preset for this, and then just bulk generate all your service pages for an entire website off that one preset that you've reiterated to the perfect preset, right? And this will create, like I said, out the box, awesome pages. And there should be an example on the next tweet if you just go on and scroll a little bit on the right side.
This one?
Yep. So there you go. It's about 100 words. It's really optimized. It recommends ClickSlice. It does all of that kind of stuff. Again, I did a very basic example. I didn't put the maps or the short codes or anything like that, videos and things like that inside of it, because I wanted to generate a very quick example. And I did it at 5 a.m. this morning. I just woken up. It wasn't the most optimal piece or timing. But yeah, that will allow you to create service pages. So then those are the main two other kind of options that we have. And then soon we'll have newsletters and the social posts. But the main feature that most people use is if you go to create content against single generation, and then it's just new articles, right? So it'll allow you to, so you go to single generation,
and then new article.
Yep. And then this is where it kind of either you can choose to generate a new article, or you can re-optimize an existing piece of content. I generally use the re-optimize existing content for parasite pages, right? So this is not going to sound the most ethical, but I like to go into SERPs where I know that I can dominate with parasites, because there's maybe, like a DR32, a DR27, a DR45, something like that, ranking number 1, number 2, number 3. I'll just get whichever I think is the best article, stick that into optimize article in Cuppa, get Cuppa to rewrite the entire thing, and then just paste it on a parasite page and outrank the original piece of content, right? But with no editing, nothing, just re-optimizing the article with Cuppa and posting it on a higher authority domain. That's basically it, right? It's a very simple strategy, but it works amazingly. Google's favoring authority so much. It's favoring other signals like UGC. So if you post on Reddit, that works great as well. But for this example, we're going to just create a new article. So whatever keyword you want to go with, and try and make it match the preset that we just kind of came up with. So we want to try and match somewhat of the preset we just kind of came up with, right?
So if we go for something like, I don't know, best SEO speakers, something like that.
Yeah, perfect.
That could be. All right, cool.
And then as an example that you just saw the fetch SERP button, You can enable or disable that, but basically that will pull the top 20 results from Google, and it will put all of their content inside of the research data for when we're generating content. So it'll pull all of the source, all the competitive sources. Sorry, my dog's going to.
Are you getting attacked? Are you okay?
It's just fine, don't worry. She got a lot louder bark than her size. Yeah, so it'll pull in those top 20 pages and it will put it into the research data. So it will generate the content based on those top 20 pages, right? We're trying to have a prioritization system soon. So when that fetch cert button will actually load another screen, which will then you'll be able to checkbox which sources you want to pull in. So obviously some people don't want to pull in like Wikipedia, or they don't want to pull in Amazon or eBay or things like that. They just want to put in the DR40s or 50 competitors, so you can unselect or deselect them going forward. Hopefully that will be out next week too. So here, this is now the generation mode for single article generations, right? So we can set our preset just straight away, which I think was, you set it to example, right? Yep. And that will then fill out all the stuff that we basically put in the preset already. You'll notice that it kind of changed to including introduction already automatically on there and some other bits and pieces. Generally speaking, again, we don't really change anything because we've already done it on the preset, so we don't need to. From this specific thing, you can go up and you can just select if you want to do knowledge or anything like that. As you said, we already have those features on there. If we want to select knowledge, you can select knowledge, but we don't have one quite there. We can set which model we want to do. Right now, GPT-4o is the fastest, but generally speaking, we found GPT-4 is generally still the best quality in terms of content, but GPT-4o is by far the fastest, right? Then on the right-hand side, you've got all the headers. So this allows you to basically you can click those arrow buttons and it allows you to just import the headers automatically into the outline. So if you just click one of those buttons and then go to the left-hand side and then just scroll down, it will be in the outline then automatically for you. So there you go. It automatically adds it to outline. You can automatically generate an outline. So if you just click the green magic button on the left side there.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
For some reason,
Still.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with it, but it was working a minute ago. It might be.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. But I'll double check it. But yeah, should be okay, I think.
Okay, so that will basically automatically generate the outlines, like we already just said, and it will give the whole outline. And I just showed you the example outline from the tweet. That was 100% auto-generated. I didn't edit any of it. Normally speaking, it's dependent on how big your article is. So if most of your competitors have got like 6 or 7 H2s and 10 H3s, it will try and match what most of your competitors have. So it'll try and go for an average of those H2s and H3s.
Okay, cool.
From here as well, you can click research, and it will take between 30 and 90. Oh, okay, perfect. It's already loaded. So if you immediately load this and then you click research, it will say 30 seconds. So it will just say 30 seconds loading. Wait 30 seconds, it will load. Don't worry. It's just because we're pulling from other APIs. So that's why we have to wait for it to load. Yep.
I like the fact that it's pulled in the research and Julian Goldie is just sitting right at the top there.
Boom, smashing it. If you click plus on Julian Goldie, it will then analyze the intent of that keyword. So you can do find intent, and it will tell you the intent of the keywords that you want. So it'll tell you information, right? So you can then just go and put those keywords into it, or you can try and use the keywords, whatever you want. If you quickly go back to heading, sorry. Another cool feature, and for some, no, that's fine. So if you go back to research, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Then you can also choose Amazon listings. So again, you can search for Amazon products if you want to try and find products and things that you want to put in this specific things, or you can do discussions and forums. So again, that pulls in the Reddit or Core or whatever you want, and then you can go to FAQs. And that will be your, there's a lot of options here. That will be your people also ask, and then it will be the site's FAQs that will be listed on those specific pages as well. So you've got the FAQs that are on those specific pages. What makes Julian Goldie a top SEO speaker? I wonder what does make him a top SEO speaker.
I ask myself every day.
So yeah, it'll put in all that kind of stuff. You can copy paste it straight into whatever you want to do. You can use all this stuff. It's just great for research. News is Google News. So you can go and find all the latest news that is related to your keywords, related to your niches. And then Wikipedia again is Wikipedia. So this is just all research stuff. So if you've ever done copywriting, or if you've ever done systematic or writing processes, you'll know how much of a time and life hack this is, because you don't have to go and do independent searches or queries. It's just there. You click it, open it, copy paste, do whatever you want. It's available research for you. So once we've got that, we can go and click, just make sure that we've got all of our settings done, right? So advanced options is sorted, right? We've got all the stuff in there, done. Content manipulation sorted, right? That's all loaded from the presets, done. Okay, perfect. So we can go and generate our article now. So you can just click generate article, and it will allow us to, and it will start generating it. Okay.
Just waiting for that key, but yeah.
Yeah. So if you open the settings, is the key loaded onto the Cuppa thing on another screen, on another tab?
Yeah, I'll pull up the settings. Do you think it's okay showing the API, or probably best not to?
Yes, I think it should hide the key. It should hide it.
There we
go. Oh no. Okay. you might want to delete it afterwards.
I'll delete it after the stream. It's all right.
Okay. No, someone's going to go and rape your AI limits now. But
I think there's a limit on there, so it's okay.
Okay,
you won't get much out of it. Yeah.
No, you're good then. Okay, so that again, it should just take a couple of minutes. It just needs to verify it with OpenAI and make sure that it. So we also make sure that we don't go over your limits. So we output your limits and make sure that we're not generating content that is beneath limits. This is my dog. So yeah, once you've got that's, or you can in fact if you go to drafts, any content that you've already got in drafts will do the job for the time being. So you go back to profile settings that you just on. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Go to article drafts. So there we go. We've got best SEO speakers or sorry, actually, go to my generated content. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. It's my generated content, and then single articles, and then just any of them. All right, yeah, the first one, second one, yeah. Click whichever one you want. You can just open them, right? And then this is what it will look like when it's generated the content, right? This is what it will load after you click generate article. You can click share, which will then allow you to either publicly share it. So you can create a link, and then that you can copy that link and share it to anybody in your team, whatever you want to do. Or if you want to share it to a client, you can share it to a client. You can click download, which will allow you to download it and put it into whatever. You can put it into Markdown, into text, into doc, whichever file you want. And then you can do send to, which allows you to send it to Blogger, WordPress, Google Drive, Zapier, that kind of thing. But the main thing here, actually there's two main things. Number one, you see the little up and down thing in the right hand corner. So the right hand corner, you got an up and down, thumb and thing, right? Yeah, we're using this to train our AI to whichever. So if you actually like the content or you don't like it, and you click that will send it will send back to our systems to retrain, basically to improve our system. And what we're trying to do is have basically a yes/no system. So we're having yes to all this generated content, no to all this generated content, and then fine tune our own model going forward on yes content and no content, right? So that we have this really, really good customized model for generating content. From here, we can now click edit article. So this is where we start getting I think it was James who asked earlier about where we can do individual edits and things, right? So this is the power editor. If you're, used to Surfer or ClearScope or anything like that, it will look very similar. What we're going to be doing soon is on the right-hand side where you're hovering your mouse right now, that's going to have a semantic scoring system. So very similar to Surfer where it's 0 to 100. We're going to have that, but we want to try and have it significantly better than everybody else. The problem with, and I'll just be straight up and honest about these things, right? If you go to Surfer, if you go to ClearScope, and you go on the right-hand side, it will say these entities, you have 1 out of 7. So you need to add 6 more of these entities, right? On the right-hand side. If you just click add to all these entities, your score will go up on these tools, right? But all you're doing is adding a list of your keywords. It just becomes a list of keywords because you're clicking add. So that's not actually making your article semantically better to rank for, right? So that scoring system is complete garbage, in my opinion. So we've been trying to create our own custom, independent, proprietary scoring system. The only problem is that we found is it works great in English, but then when you try and apply it to semantically score other languages, it's pretty hard. So we've kind of come up with some of our own saves for that and some of our own kind of systems to better do that. And we really think our semantic scoring system is one of the best, if not the best in the world right now going forward. It's just going to take another 2 or 3 weeks for us to beta test with some really high level tech SEOs and some really high level content SEOs to make sure that it is as good as it could be. So exactly where boom. So exactly where your button is right now, you can click show related searches. right?
Okay.
Exactly where you're. Oh, sorry, where the for some reason this was my mouse. I was looking at my mouse on
Uh,
my So if you go to keyword best SEO speakers
there we
show
go,
related
right?
searches, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
brilliant. This will give you all of the related search that it's found for this, right? Obviously, this might not be the best term because there's not many other terms for best SEO speakers, but it will give you all of the other keywords that it's found, and it will give you search volumes. What you can then do is you can click draft a cluster project, right? And it will then send that to a bulk generation project. And what you can do is the preset that you there, boom, there. So it's already saved for you here. The preset that you use to generate that one article and that you've reiterated, right? So all you do is you reiterate on that one article, and then you apply that preset for that one article to all of these, and then you generate the content, right? And it will be 100% amazing out the box every single time.
Just a couple of questions whilst we're on this. We've got Jeff, who's a legendary regular on the YouTube lives. He says, does Cuppa take keyword density into account?
So it does, but it depends on if you put your keywords in the keyword box, right? So
Right, okay,
in that keyword prompting box, if you put keywords in there, our optimization features around keyword density and around some other like semantic connections and stuff, that tends to be a lot more limited because it tends to focus on the keywords that you input into the box and trying to make them the connections instead of making it more natural. I appreciate it, Jeff.
Jeff also says, by the way, shut up and take my money already.
I appreciate it, man. Don't worry. Like I said, we are literally releasing features, updates, and quality of life improvements every week. If you go to our Discord, you'll see like I think today and yesterday we released a feature today, released a feature yesterday, and released a feature before that. So on every single day we'll be releasing stuff this week, right? So I really do think that we will, even if you don't think that we're the best tool right now, and I think that we are, give us a month, give us 2-3 months, we will be. And if you think that we aren't because we don't have X feature, tell us and we will add that feature for you within 1 or 2 weeks. We are that quick, right? We listen to customer feedback. We've got beta users as well. So if you join our Discord, you can apply to become a beta user, and you can get access to all these features months before everybody else as well.
Nice. Yeah, I think that's the best mindset, man. Like I do the same with all the products that we have, like the SEO Boardroom, SEO Elite Circle, link building service. Like, what's one thing I can do today to just improve the service?
Exactly, yeah. And it's little things, quality of life improvements, right? And this is the thing: if you are actively a lot of tool owners or a lot of people who are like marketing tools or SaaS owners and stuff like that, they're not necessarily using it day to day themselves, right? So they have to listen to users more to get feedback on how they can improve it. But our team inside of Cuppa, the 5 people that are around us that own it, right? Chris and I are the main shareholders, but then we have 3 other guys as well. All of us use it every single day. We're constantly sharing stuff between us and constantly trying to come up with new ways we can improve the tool. And there's DMs all the time between us about how we can do this, new features, new updates and stuff. So I really do think that we, give us 6 months and we will be the best content suite in the industry, let alone, just for SEO, let alone just for AI and things, right?
Awesome, man. All right, let's keep going then. So what's next from here?
Yeah, so on the so in terms of the Power Editor, you've got all of the usual features, right? So if you're used to WordPress, you're used to all these features with your bolding, your italics, your centering, all that kind of stuff. What's quite cool is if you just select any of the text inside of the editor right now, you can just hover over, and then you click that magic, the pink magic button up there in the that will then allow you to have all the additional AI tools. So you can fix grammar, you can change the tone, you can expand it, you can complete it, you can summarize it. So a lot of people want articles that are beyond the capabilities of the output of the AI. So some people want like 10,000 word articles, right? Well, you can't actually do that using the AI because it has an output limit. So the output is, I think it's like 4,000 or 8,000 tokens, depending on which model you're using right now. Well, the 8,000 tokens isn't enough to generate 10,000 words of content, right? What is enough is if you go in here and then you just keep expanding stuff, or you add stuff on, or you increase stuff, or you complete things, or you change things and stuff, right? And you just keep on expanding stuff until you get to that point. You'll also notice, again, on the right-hand side of this, beneath the keyword, it has the word count. If you hover over that word count, So on the right hand side, yep, it will show you all of the word count for your competing pages. It will show you the header. If you do the same thing over headings, it will show you the number of headings for each of your competitors. You do this, it gives you all of this additional information that can give you a bit more insight as well into actually doing some stuff. And then also gives you the feature snippet as well. If you want to try and optimize for the actual snippet, you can straight away optimize for the snippet out the box there. There's some other tools as well around kind of, you can see kind of the regenerate title option at the top there. So it's like kind of just the spinning cycle button that allows you to just regenerate the title to whatever you want it to be. Again, you kind of need the OpenAI key. Then you also, on the right-hand side, you'll see you have SERPs, images, vision, Sora, and authorship. Authorship should be, so vision, Sora, and authorship, they're all coming soon, but authorship should be available next week, and then vision should be available by the end of the month. So authorship, we're going to be the only tool in the industry that does this. We have basically approached thousands of expert authors and journalists in the world and onboarded them into a system that we call Inc. Authorship, right? And what that does is it will allow you to pay these authors to attribute them as the publishers of your content. So this is kind of like future proofing for EAT and kind of doing all these kind of stuff, right? But essentially what it allows you to do is just go onto the authorship button. You pay so depending on the author, right? Some authors are going to be $1, some authors are going to be like $3, some are going to be $5. You just pay the author, and then you'll be able to attribute them with their markup. You can even pay a bit more, and they'll like share it on their social media and things like that, so you get some signals and make it look really, really real.
Just one thing I want to address. Jayan has said the result is not that good, right? But what I would say here is like this shows the power of the preset. And by the way, I'm not an affiliate. I'm not even posting an affiliate link or anything like that. So I don't mind whether you buy it or not. But what I would say with Copper is like, if you look at this article right here, this is before the presets that you recommended. If you look at your article that's ranking, this is after the presets that have been created, right? And it's like, that's one of the biggest differences, I think, between the difference in quality and content.
Yeah, 100%. Like the out the box with no presets, nothing, no prompting and stuff. It's going to be very similar to ChatGPT, OpenAI API, right? There's not going to be much difference. Out when you do the custom prompts, and bear in mind this was in January, right? So this was not even kind of recent to what we're actually kind of being able to achieve with things, right? That specific content, I think you generates it out the box just as an example for a Parasite page. Has nothing to do with my presets or anything or any prompting and stuff. When you do have that prompting, that's when it starts generating content. And bear in mind, that one case that we showed there, we've got more. We're going to show you some more cases later on of even better examples of content ranking and stuff, right? But the article that you just said is ranking, right? So I think it's like number 3 or something for your
I mean, he's an example of like, you know, the Copper content ranking on the first page of Google for the target keyword.
Obviously, and that's the bad Copper content. Like that's the out the box stuff. Like.
So there you go. And also just one thing I would mention here is like, if you want a quality control checklist, if you want to learn like exactly how to edit your content and you know, like we were talking about before, if you're a boutique website, that sort of thing, we have an SEO quality control section with 5 different workflows on quality control and a free checklist inside the free course. So you can get that link in the comments description.
Yeah. And like I said, the preset will make it a lot better. It's just the more training, the more exposure, the more iteration that you've done, the better output you're going to have, right? This is out the box, no editing, no prompting, nothing. This is completely
that's it. That's the difference, isn't it? Yeah, I would agree.
But the funny thing is, it still ranks, right? So people have this misconception that Google doesn't rank AI content, that can detect all AI content, stuff like that. That's complete nonsense. Like we have ranked content that is probably a lot worse than this out the box, right? Just straight ChatGPT articles and stuff that still ranks. So I don't necessarily believe in this whole thing around, you know, quality content, HCU, all this kind of stuff. And if you read into Carl Roof's training and research and things, you'll know that content in Google's eyes isn't about quality. It's about ones and zeros, and it's just binary, and it's just numbers and things. And that is why this stuff ranks still.
Yeah, I would say, you know, like if you don't want to rank with AI content, just post it as a public case study. But that's the only time AI content doesn't rank.
Yeah, at John Mueller on Twitter, and just wait. Okay, so on this right side, again, you've got your headers, your FAQs, your news, your wiki, which you've already been through, but we've got images. So you can go to images, and this is where I'm saying I don't really like doing the preset images, because I like generating my own imagery. And I don't really like DALL-E, which is the first option. I like Midjourney. So if you just select Midjourney, we can come up with, maybe we do like a prompt like, a British SEO speaker on stage in Brighton or something like that, right? You can even add in some prompts about like photorealism and things like that if you want to, and, make some stuff like that. But it will start generating it. Again, Midjourney takes between 30 and 60 seconds normally. It shouldn't take too long, but DALL-E 3 is quicker. It's just not as good. So you can click DALL-E 3 and generate the exact same image if you want to, and just kind of see the difference. Yep, click submit.
Oh, it's
okay. Yeah, we need an open AI. Okay, yeah. So this is another thing. If you're a power user with Cuppa, you don't need to pay for Midjourney. We've got it automatically in here for you. You just need the OpenAI API keys. So if you're generating imagery, you'll know that that's actually the most expensive part of using AI. So that you can generate 2,500 words of content for like 14 cents, but one image might be 15 cents, right? So it can be quite expensive if you're trying to scale bulk content generating imagery. So what we try and do with Cuppa is you don't pay for your generated imagery with Midjourney. You just use our tool and it will generate it for you. So that saves a massive amount of cost if you're generating a lot of imagery, and you can generate multiple images at the same time. So you can submit another prompt and it will start generating from Midjourney at the same time. So we can do multiple ones. However, we'll just kind of wait for this to load and then try and stick it in. There are some other bits and pieces from here as well, which will allow you to do it. Again, it does take some time with Midjourney. It can take up to like 2 or 3 minutes for it. It just depends on how many people are using the tool at the time and things, and if the API is that great. From here, the only other thing that we haven't really talked about is Vision and Sora. So Vision is going to come out. I think we're in kind of testing, but I'm not sure how far really we are because I'm not running the testing on that. Vision is OpenAI Vision. So if you've ever seen it, basically it's the tool that is in ChatGPT where they like read your screen or they read the real world. If you've seen that OpenAI example where they're figuring out the maths that's on the table that they've just written onto a piece of paper, that's OpenAI Vision, right? In with the like GPT-4o actually interpreting things on top of it. What we want to try and do is get Vision to be able to literally look at the top 20 competitor pages and try and see examples of how it's formatting content, the image style it's generating, things like that. And then Vision inside of Cuppa will be able to copy imagery, things like that from competitor pages. So we'll actually be able to like steal formatting and steal like image styles and like button setups and things like that from articles and put that into our own stuff inside of Cuppa. So that's kind of the next generation. I think images should be loaded now. So if you go back to images, it's taking a while for this for some reason. Last night it was so quick, but I was working on it at like 3-4 a.m. or something. So yeah, but yeah. So this then allows you, once you've got this, you can download or you can send to, you can share, like we said. There's also the marketplace. So soon, what we want. So again, this is another feature that we're going to be soon doing. At the moment, it's just got the stuff around like authorship and some community and stuff there. What we're going to have, hopefully by the end of July, is a community-based marketplace where users can buy and sell presets, and they can buy templates for generating content, and they can do things like, and they can sell examples for prompts and things like that. So generating imagery and prompts and all sorts of stuff like that. And you can go in, and if you've got like the most amazing preset that you've ever come up with and you want to make an extra 100, 200, 300 bucks a month, you can just put it on the marketplace and that'll pay for your Cuppa subscription, all the content that you're generating, right? So we want to try and have that as another reason people are so ingrained into Cuppa, is that they're using that feature. The only other thing I want to talk about is the bulk generation content stuff that we have. So if you go to so if you go to drafts, and then it should be drafts, and then it should be bulk or project drafts. Project drafts. And then this first one you should come to there, cluster best SEO speakers. If you just click that, this is where you'll be able to kind of change some specific things. So if certain keywords have got other like POVs or other tones that you need, or you want to try and change to another preset, things like that, you can just apply it individually and generate the content from there. But this is where I want to try and talk about the workflow. So the workflow with Cuppa, right, begins in an iteration process of trying to come up with the preset, right? So you're trying to generate one article, and it might be, the main article that you're trying to generate, but you come up with a preset for that main article. Then inside the Power Editor, that's where you can generate your images, you can improve it, you can expand it, you can make things, changing custom tone, you can do whatever you want, you can insert short codes, you can insert Google Maps, you can do whatever you want. You can also then, do the authorship and stuff, hopefully soon. From there, once we've got that preset done, we can take that main keyword, we can draft a new project inside of Power Editor for all the other keywords that Cuppa has found for us, and then we can go and apply that preset inside the bulk generator. And so once we've got that one preset done, we basically can just start generating as much content as we want, and it should, within reason, be very, very good quality, right? And generally speaking, once we've got that preset done, we don't need to do human editing, or we don't need to do much human editing afterwards. Because it's such a niche-oriented preset and prompt for that specific thing. So that's basically the majority of the stuff on here. I think we talked about basically everything. The only thing I think we didn't talk about was like languages and countries. So this is, again, a really big USP for Cuppa. And I think we're the only one that does this. And I probably shouldn't even talk about this because I know that some of the competitors are going to listen and go and copy us now. And this is why we get a lot of certain countries' SEOs say how good the content is for that language, right? So like we have a lot of, for example, we have a lot of users in Brazil for Cuppa, because what we do is for local languages and local geos is we speak to, we try and find local SEOs. So we'll try and find localized SEO experts that have got some experience with AI and some experience with content, and then we'll put them through our Cuppa prompt training material, and then we'll have them work with us to improve our localized prompting. So when you're generating the article for Brazil in Portuguese, for example, it will be generating using prompting in Brazilian Portuguese. So it won't be using English prompting, it will be using localized prompting, which then makes your output so much better than if you're trying to generate foreign content using English prompting, right? Which is what all of these other tools are doing. So the fact that we've got 33 countries and 120 languages. At the moment, I think there's about 15 or 16 of them that are uploaded and approved with localized SEO experts augmenting the prompting to make the output even better. But hopefully in the next 2 or 3 months, all of them will have that. So every single language will be customized to that language, prompting will be in that language, and the outputs will be significantly better than any tool in the market.
Tom says, I just got here 10 minutes ago. What have I walked into? This bloke is cooking. One thing I would say about you, Charles, is probably like the time in terms of like value to second ratio is off the charts, mate. Because it's always like so articulate when you explain these things, but also I think you just focus on the facts and there's no BS or fluff in between, right?
Yeah, so I always come back to the fact that I try to teach people things that I do myself, right? So if I'm trying to learn something or I'm trying to do something myself, I don't want to be listening to somebody telling me all the fluff and, why it's good or what
100%.
to do, all that crap, right? I just want to know how to use it and how to do things and what to do, right? And I want to jump into things straight away. And I also have a bit of ADHD and I try to control it as much as I can. But I do tend to just, flow and just off leash stuff. But yeah, I tried to I've tried to make sure that I've explained as much of the features as Cuppa has here. There's some stuff that even I forget about. Like there's that like little intricacies and little things that we improved that you'll find that are those nooks and crannies that are just really good for anybody that's trying to generate content. If you guys have got any additional questions around Cuppa or anything, you can always tweet me. Like I reply about Cuppa all the time. So, and I tweet about Cuppa all the time. So you can just ask me on Twitter and I'll reply to any of your questions that you have as well. Once
Awesome.
you actually use the tool, right? Yeah. So sorry.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to show today?
So the other thing was another case study, right? So I thought that we could show a case study example of number one, it's a great example of, again, out the box content, no human editing, nothing, and it ranks straight away. It's also a good idea of a business model that is absolutely fantastic that you can do right now that we are actively doing. And I'm making, I think last month we made like $8,000 or $9,000 from this business model. And it's mostly Todd and I. So Todd Foster is my business partner and mentor. what we do is we get expired domain names in certain niches. So niches that have got high cost per link. So you're talking like finance, gambling, healthcare, home, tech, anything like that. And then also like specific countries, like things like the Nordics, their average link is like 300 euros, like a DR20 or something. It's absolutely absurd, right? Those kind of things are fantastic. So what we do is we find an expired domain that is in a good niche that sells links for quality for a high price, right? Then we don't rebuild anything, right? Most people are like, oh, you go and rebuild way back. Hell no. Right? We go build a new website, but we try and target keywords that we know that people are going to be searching for. So I'm going to show you this one example here. I think you already have the URL ready to go.
Is that the one that begins with Z?
Exactly. Bingo.
Yeah.
So
okay.
this site, basically what it is again, it's set up to sell links. So we found an expired domain, we built the site in WordPress, and then we just threw up Cuppa unedited Cuppa articles. So out the box, including the imagery, everything done by Cuppa onto the website. I think now there's about 8 blog posts on the site, right? And the site's doing over 150 visits a month. Again, not insane numbers, but we're trying to sell links off the site. We're not trying to generate traffic and things. And 150 traffic is enough to get the ball rolling for people to actually want to buy links on the site. And it's mostly insurance, fintech, finance, that kind of thing. So this kind of a website, I think it's a DR6 or 16 or something like that. But again, it was just a super easy expired domain that I found and kind of threw up. DR6, yeah, 191 backlinks and 69 RD. But again, you'll see it's ranking for like some random keywords. And despite the keyword difficulty being like 2 or 8, those keywords are actually pretty tough keywords. Like you're talking, some pretty big banks and some pretty big insurance institutions, AIG, things like that, even Wikipedia and stuff that you're actually competing with. So you end up competing with some fairly big kind of sites and stuff for this. But the main thing is that keyword and some of the the CPCs and stuff on these keywords like it are like $3, $4, $5 CPCs and stuff, right? So I'd see it at 86, 90, 95, that kind of stuff. So you've got some massive pages ranking for this kind of keywords, right? But the fact that we're page 2 with no editing, no internal linking, 100% out the box AI content using Cuppa is fantastic. And if all we have to do is scale this up. So as I said, we have 8 blog posts on the site. If we had 80 or 800 over the course of a year, this site would be having 1,000 times the amount of traffic. It would probably get to DR20 plus, and we would easily be able to sell links for over $100 per post or per niche edit, right? And for this specific site, it was an expired domain. So the domain cost me $12 to register. The 8 blog posts, the most expensive thing was the images. So the images, I think, cost me like $1.12 or something, or $1.15. And then the content for the 8 blog posts cost like 90 cents or something. So
where did you buy it from?
The domain, it was a drop catch. So I get most of my expired domains through drop catching, to be fair.
Right.
It's just the easiest way to get them. And it's generally speaking, they don't have as many issues around like spam and stuff like that. So we generally use drop catching for expired domains. But yeah, so this site is a perfect example of this type of business model. This entire website to build, domain hosting content costs under $30. And we could make that back off 1 link sale, right? As you can see, we have the contribute page there. So that it means that anybody who is using footprints hopefully will find our website and email us. And then if we're going to sell to anybody like casino or adult or things like that, we just instantly charge 2 or 3 times the price. So we would charge them like $300 a link or something like that.
And then you got the ROI straight off the bat, haven't you?
Exactly. Yeah. You make your money back rapidly, right? Yeah.
Crazy stuff, man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah, and again, this uses the same process. So all we do is we create the preset with the single article generator. We then go and load the keywords into bulk generator and then just bulk generate all the content, put it into WordPress, and then just drip feed it in publishing.
That's cool. All right. Awesome. I kind of want to generate some content, but I don't know if that's going to work yet. But
I know. So if you go to drafts, it might be able to. So you go to drafts. I don't know why your key isn't loading.
sometimes it just takes like an hour or so, doesn't it? And then it comes.
Well, so we have a security feature, right? So that if you log in, so basically either you log in or you're logged in from another device, right? It will reset your key. So that it basically means that your key is saved locally, so that we never have access to your keys. So we can never, if we get hacked, which we won't, because I make sure that we don't. That, if God forbid that ever does happen, it doesn't matter, because nobody can steal your keys, so that we don't have any users getting, $1 million in OpenAI log bills and things.
Awesome. Well, I mean, what we're going to do is, with this Copper AI SEO workflow that we've talked about today, we'll plug that into our free SEO course, and then people can get access to all the prompts and all the steps that we've talked about today, along with the negative keywords that you've mentioned as well, that people can preload into the site.
Yep.
Is there any, we could go through a couple of questions we've got in the chat. Is there anything else you wanted to say before you go?
Yeah, just the last thing. I did put it in the info that I shared with you before the call. All of these articles, as you already saw in that doc, are 85% plus AI detectable. So basically, all the articles that I've shown today, all the articles that we've uploaded out the box, right, they do come back as being generated by AI. But again, that's because they're out the box. I didn't really do any humanization prompting, and I didn't do all this kind of stuff, right? They're meant to be out the box content, and they still rank really high. Some of them have 1% human, 99% AI in originality, and they're number 2 in Google, right? I don't believe that any of these kind of AI detector outputs and stuff mean anything, besides if you are really scared that your content just looks spammy, right? But if it looks terrible, it means that your preset and your prompting isn't good, right? You need to go back to the drawing board and start again. But don't get worried if your content is saying that it's 85%, 95% detectable in originality. It still ranks. Google doesn't care. It still ranks it. It still doesn't. And again, it would take so much resources for Google to run AI detection across all of their index. It would just be insane, right? Like that's just. And Google themselves actively are trying to reduce spend, trying to increase efficiency. So it doesn't make sense for them to go and add on a massive extra cost to try and detect AI content, right? Which is what some people are saying is happening in SEO, it's not happening. I can tell you that for a fact.
Yeah, that's it. And I'm totally with you there. I think that from what I've seen as well, like quite often AI content is just better. It genuinely is better. I've seen it on YouTube, and not just on tools like this, but also YouTube. It's like, if I do, and you've tested the same, like if I do a thumbnail with AI, quite often that will get a better click-through rate than a human generated thumbnail. It's just people prefer quality. It doesn't matter how it's made.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw Mr. Beast's thumbnail recently. So he did a world's hardest obstacle course, and he said that it was the highest CTR video he's ever got, and it's literally the fakest thumbnail you've ever seen of him nearly stepping off of a wood bridge, with his foot nearly going through the gap in the wood bridge and things, and it's just the most fake thumbnail you've ever seen. But it ends up being his highest CTR that he's ever had. So that's a clear example of maybe actually it's kind of human recognition to kind of seek out the obscure or the fake or the artificial or something, maybe.
Do you want to quickly blast through some of the Q&As?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. So Search Historian says, any plans on releasing transactional content templates, landing pages for services, features, and products? I think you've already done that, right?
Product reviews is coming next. There are templates coming for, so when you choose general how-to, things like that, there will be templates for features coming. Service pages is already available as of today, right? That location service pages is there now. So landing pages like features and all that kind of stuff, that will be available hopefully in the future, because we also want to have a mode that allows you to create anything, right? So it'll be it'll essentially allow you to have every setting under the sun and just allow you to create whatever kind of content you want out the box.
And also asks, does internal linking tools coming to this?
50-50, right? So number one, we know that a lot of competitors have got internal linking. It's just that if you actually look at them, they're really bad. They're not very good at all. Yeah, and if anything, a lot of the time it's causing over-optimization issues in the automatic internal linking, because you're using the same keywords over and over again, or you're linking to the same pages over and over again, and it just doesn't look natural. It doesn't look organic. It doesn't help move equity. properly. The second issue is that, again, outside of English, it becomes really hard. Some languages just does not work. It doesn't understand like shifting intent and things in certain languages and stuff like that. It will just create gobbledygook in terms of the internal links and stuff. So we have a separate tool that is kind of an internal linking tool, but it's just a full link building suite, basically. So good. And then we have hopefully we're going to have it basically coming soon where you can choose to do it or not. You like uploading a sitemap and things like that, but we want it very optional, just because we're going to tell users straight up, like, we don't recommend that you do this if you want very white hat clean rankings consistently and stuff, right?
And then we also got another question from Aqua, who says, should I follow a publication frequency in order to improve the indexation of the site?
Yes. So generally speaking, we try and do either 1 or 2 posts per day, and that's normally the limit. Normally it also depends on the site, right? So if you've got a website that's 10 years old and you've already got 10,000 pages, you can publish 10 posts a day. That's perfectly fine, right? But if you've got a brand new website that's got 1 post index, 10 posts a day is probably too many. So it's all very relative to whichever site you're working on, and if it's a new website, if it's an existing website. But generally speaking, we try and do that 1 or 2 a day frequency, because you also want to match publishing with promotion. So a lot of people just publish content and leave it. But I always have inside of our SOPs a promotional aspect. And because we use AI now, we often build links to the content. So we'll create a LinkedIn post, we'll create a Medium account, we'll create all these things, and then we'll get the AI to summarize the article. And then we'll put that summarization on a Medium post and we'll link back to the article, right? So there's some level of links, some level of promotion, some level of clicks, some data for Google to basically reference for that article. And it's not an orphan post.
Okay. And Crypto Caliph says, any chance you can create your own arbitrary roundups not based on Amazon, which you've already shown, right? For example, with best SEO speakers, that's kind of like a listicle roundup.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And what you do is, we didn't really show it, but inside of the thing, you can do that. You can insert your short code or a custom code and things like that. And then you'll just be able to insert like short codes for products or things like that. If you're doing a roundup, if you have it in WordPress already, or you can insert your own custom boxes, or you can just, again, do the same thing where we did the best SEO speaker roundup article.
Ben Sampson says, on Surfer SEO, they have a new thing called auto optimize, which I think is cool. What's the difference between you and Surfer SEO?
Yeah, so Surfer is probably like 40 times more expensive to generate each article. On average, I think that it's like $15 an article at the moment with Surfer, right? Or $19 an article or something like that. And it's average 2,800 words. So an average 2,800 word article with Cuppa will cost you 16 cents, right? Versus $19. So that's a pretty big difference already. The second difference is that we're fundamentally a content suite, whereas Surfer is fundamentally a content optimization suite, right? So we're trying to generate content, they're trying to optimize content. So we've kind of got different approaches fundamentally. So our workflow would be very different. You want to start generating content inside of Cuppa, you want to already have your content and start editing it, generally speaking, inside of Surfer. The auto optimize feature, we kind of do want to enable it. It's just doesn't, again, it's the other languages, right? It doesn't really work that great in other languages, and then it tends to mess up in certain niches, like anything scientific or medical or legal and things like that. Auto optimize just doesn't work, and it starts putting in words and things that you don't want. And if you're working with law firms and legal clients, they will like fire you over putting in certain words and things in articles and stuff. So you have to be very, very careful with stuff like that. We do eventually want to have it, but instead of having it as auto optimized, we want to have it auto humanize. So basically, we want to have it become more readable, more legible, better formatting. Probably put in some purposeful mistakes, grammatical errors, things like that, just to make it more human, more humanized.
And Ben asks, is there any chance of embedding using the Claude API inside Cuppa?
Yeah, Claude's coming out next week. So it will be available within 7 days. It will be live. Again, we do localized prompting with local experts. So it'll be SEO experts from Brazil, or SEO experts from Portugal, or from France, and things like that, right? We work with them. The issue is that we have to then do that all again with each model that we add, right? So we've been doing that with Claude. It's just taken us 2 to 3 months to roll it out properly. And we try and do the reiterative testing process to make sure that it's 100%. Because again, we're trying to make Cuppa as out the box as possible. All you do is put the preset in and it will generate the content. You don't need to do additional editing. That's the main aim, right?
Yeah, that's it. Just 2 more questions then. So we've got one that says, do you have any recommendations for services to add graphics to text content generated by Cuppa?
So I actually have a in-house designer. We just use Canva if I'm doing it myself. My in-house designer uses Photoshop, and there is a Photoshop extension. I've forgotten the name of it, but I can find it for you guys and we can add it to the SOP later on. That allows you to put AI, do bulk AI edits inside of Photoshop, which basically means you can bulk edit 1,000 images inside of Photoshop, add text in, for example, and then export them and then put them into Cuppa and upload them from there. But generally speaking, at the moment, inside of Cuppa, there isn't. But what we want to try but you can also just do prompting. So if you put the text that you're trying to generate into DALL-E 3, and especially if you put it inside the triple quotation marks on one side and triple quotation marks at the end, it will generally generate that wording inside the content very well. Midjourney isn't as good with text, but DALL-E 3 especially has gotten very good with text recently. And that the featured image on the 100K a month article where it says 100K and the surround text, that's AI. We didn't do that like that.
Final question, which I guess for me is based on one of my other videos that I made recently. With Claude, can you do a video on how to embed those into websites, which I'll do in the future? So obviously, Charles, you probably tested it already. You can create your own tools inside Claude, and then I'll do a video soon. If you subscribe, if you're watching this, subscribe, and I'll do a video soon on how to embed those.
I'm
Charles,
looking forward to somebody who builds their entire website using it. You know what I mean? So builds an entire website just using one instance of Claude Chat, 3.5. That would be really interesting. Does the entire homepage, the about page, the blog, starts generating blog posts, doing the whole tools, interactive experiences, the whole thing, and see what happens. See if they can rank it, see if they can do it.
Let's do it. I'll do that. Yeah, I mean, I've tested creating a whole website design and the navigation and everything, but I haven't embedded it to a live website. I should embed it with a live website and see what happens.
You should. That's what I mean. Just do the whole thing from scratch. It'd be all custom HTML and stuff, right? But it would be pretty interesting and things. And I think the hosting would be so cheap on that as well.
100%. All right. Oh, is there? I mean, obviously, people can sign up to Cuppa. I think there's a free trial of Cuppa as well if people sign up now, right?
Yep.
Something like that.
4-day free trial, so you can test as much as you want for 4 days and see how you like it. There was one thing that I forgot to talk to you about, and basically inside of the presets, right? You can configure your models. So you know how you have presence penalties and frequency penalties and things like that inside of models. You can go to presets, you can choose your model, and then you can choose GPT-4o, and then you can choose to So you go to My Say presets, and then just go to OpenAI presets, and you can choose which model you want to do. Yep, choose whichever one.
So you said GPT-4 is probably best, right? Yeah.
Then add configuration, and then you can configure your model as well. So a lot of people prefer increasing frequency and presence penalties to 0.9, and then changing creativeness depending on what type of content they're doing. Obviously, if you're doing legal content or things like that, you want the correctness lower. If you're doing art content or things like that, you want it higher.
Awesome. All right, I've saved that as well now. So yeah, free trial. Obviously, you're on Twitter. If anyone wants to ask you any questions, I know you said if anyone sends a tweet, then you answer it, which is pretty kind. What we're going to do with the SOP that you've given us today is I've plugged it into my free course right here. So links in the comments and description. You can get that for free. Guys, you step by step through the whole process and the FAQs that we've talked about today. And then if anyone wants a free SEO strategy session, you can book that one-to-one call with us, and we'll give you an SEO domination plan. We'll discuss the secrets of link building. We'll answer any questions you have live on the call. Anything else you want to share before we go?
So we are doing other tools at the moment. So I actually have, we've acquired topicalmap.ai. We're currently improving and expanding it at the moment, but it is currently about 90% of the way there. And until the end of the month, you'll be able to get a a $19 a month plan. So it's very cheap for you to get access to it. And there's a ton of features in it. But basically, if you've ever done manual topical mapping, you'll know how much of a headache it is. And how, in general, just keyword research, clustering, topical mapping, filtering, intent analysis, all this stuff is just such a nightmare, and it just takes so long to do that it makes it a lot easier if you can get the AI to do it for you, which is what we have built. And so hopefully we're going to do a relaunch of it at the end of this week or maybe next week, with all the newest features available and the new redesign and everything sorted. But it'll be available until the end of the month as well. So talking about AI, and then we actually have another tool coming out next month, which is by far the biggest one we've ever released, and we're investing like over $100,000 into its development up front. So it'll be very, very cool once that released, and I know that you'll be very interested once it comes out as well, Julian.
For sure, yeah. We'll run some video case studies on it, and sounds good, man. Sounds like you're doing a lot of stuff in SEO, so that's awesome. I think do you know what's super interesting is like when a lot of people are worried whether SEO still works or, you know, a little bit negative about SEO, you can clearly see that there's loads of opportunities to make money and rank with SEO if you have the right strategies, which is what you're sharing today, right?
100%. There's so many. I did a webinar called SEO Earning Strategies actually about 2 weeks ago. It ended up being 5 hours long. So that would show you how many opportunities there really are in SEO. And trust me, I didn't even cover 10% of the available stuff out there. It really is just that much opportunity. I think people tend to have two issues, right? There's a lot of just negativity in the industry and globally, you know, around like economics and around search and around Google and things like that, which is going to cause people to worry instinctively. And then also people have imposter syndrome. So they tend to think that, oh, I can't do this, or that this isn't possible, or that, you know, I can't achieve this, or I didn't rank this page, or I was part of this team, but the team ranked the page, I didn't rank the page, right? But that's normally not the case, right? A lot of people who I speak to who have that going on are good enough SEOs. Like they're significantly better than most of the SEOs that think they're good. Right? That's the funny part about it. And I would just say that if you're a bit unsure, go and try some things, go and test some stuff. Just see what works, see what happens, see where you get. You will surprise yourself.
And I think as well, like, you know, I see a lot of even influencers in the SEO space who, after say much are fearful these sort of updates come out, even helpful content update, it became quite negative in the content they were putting out. But I think as you know, if you're public facing, like you have a big Twitter account, I have a decent sized YouTube channel, it's kind of our responsibility to make sure that, you know, you put the right things out there and you show that actually it's easier than ever, because it really is.
100%. Yeah, you can't be kind of swayed into the negativity and things, right?
No,
like the other side of it as well, if you're actively doing stuff every day, like you will realize that there's just a never-ending amount of things that you could be doing, right? Like there's just so much stuff out there. Like it's just insane. Like I always tell people that if you go and look at the current state of the world, it's all shifting towards AI. It's all shifting towards online. It's all shifting towards like this data economy. So if
even the iPhone, right?
Exactly, 100%. ChatGPT is now on the iPhone, right? If you can even capsulate 0.0000001% of that market, you're a multimillionaire, right? Like it's that level we're dealing with. This is a multi-trillion-dollar industry that we're moving into, and if you can capture even a tiny part of it, a tiny fraction of it, you will be set for life.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen two guys, just quickly, I'll put this out there. I've seen one guy in the SEO boardroom in our community. He started a new website, made his first $500 in 2 weeks. Absolutely crazy. And then there was another lad in the SEO elite circle, and he went from 0 to 1,000 clicks a month in like a few weeks. It really is easier than ever, especially if you have the right tools like you're showing today.
Yeah, and I also think that Google has removed a lot of the competition, right? Like a lot of people who just got their websites destroyed by Google, they might have actually been fairly good SEOs. They might have been fairly good competitors against you if they built another website, or if they'd adapted or shifted into other things. But Google's removed them from your view, right? There's less competition. It's easier to do all these things because of AI, and there's more market size. So I just feel like it's from all sides and all directions. It looks to me like there's opportunity. So I definitely recommend to everybody jumping on this trend as much as you can.
100%. All right. Thanks so much for today then.
I appreciate you having me, and I hope everybody learned as much as they can out of this. And yeah, if you have any questions, hit me up on Twitter about Cuppa, and I hopefully see you guys in the Cuppa Discord where we share case studies, tips, tricks, and everything literally every single day.
Awesome. All right. Cheers, man.
Bye, guys.
Bye.